over 3 hours ago. I've been waiting for this car.
Hey, chill. She'll like us. Marla.
Hey. Nina and Meg?
Yes and yes.
Nice to meet y'all.
We already ordered pizza for the table.
We hope that's all right with you.
Oh, that should be fine. So, my friend at the bookstore said you all were biking across the country?
Yeah, we're stopping at places where we might want to open up a feminist literary press once we're done traveling.
And you're thinking about Lexington, Kentucky?
We're thinking about anywhere that has a strong feminist leftist community, especially if there aren't too many ex-wives floating around, you know what I mean?
I do know what you mean. You'll find some lesbian separatists even around these parts.
Your friend at the bookstore says you tend to lean that way. And I mean, it makes sense.
I mean, the men have been running this country, for 200 years now, and they've managed to fuck that up pretty well. If you don't need one for a lover, do you need them at all?
I mean, I don't think so. Do you have a place to stay tonight?
Not yet.
I live in this big university house on Lexington Avenue. It's just me upstairs right now since my girlfriend Gail went home to work for the summer. There are some roommates downstairs though, Nancy and Letty. Some people in the house do smoke a lot of cigarettes. And not cigarettes, especially Letty. But if you don't mind that kind of thing, you're welcome to crash at our pad.
Hell yeah.
So those are some of the fraternity houses. That is the main library on campus.
Will you have any of your classes over this way in the fall?
I'm actually not a student anymore.
But I thought you were involved on campus.
I volunteer, go to talk to some of the psych classes, tell them what it's really like being a dyke. We aren't all mentally ill. The gay student group likes to send someone when they can, but 1 second though. Jill! Hey, there's somebody I think you all would like to meet.
How's it going?
This is Lena and May. They've been staying at the house for the past few days. And they're real smart, real political, and if there's something like that going on in Lexington, then Jill is probably involved in some way.
Okay, hey, I'm not that involved, even if I want to be.
With what?
Different things. I mean, Kent State happened not long before I came to UK. Spent some time on Benjamin Spott's presidential campaign a couple of years ago. Then a group of miners was striking out in Harlan County last year, but there are also so many people doing so much more than me. I'm no expert.
Well, what do you think of the news right now?
What news?
Patty Hearst being charged with bank robbery? Do you think the SLA brainwashed her?
I think it's complicated.
And
I think it says a lot that the ransom the SLA demanded is feeding hungry people in California. But they did kidnap her and have killed people. I mean, I don't think robbing banks is necessarily the best way to fund a movement.
Maybe not.
so you don't think she did it of her own free will?
I don't know the answer. Patty might be the only person who does know. And even that's not certain.
Well, are you gonna let us in?
Look around, fellas.
Search the place.
You can't just do that. You can't just go through my stuff.
Oh, yes, we can. We'd like to have a word with you.
I really don't know what this is about.
Huh. We've had several people around town identify you as Kathy Power.
I'm not Kathy Power.
We're going to need to see every piece of ID you've had on you from the last 5 years.
May I go get my wallet?
Go with her. Take a look at this.
Here, my driver's license and my diploma from the University of Minnesota. Is this enough to prove that I'm not this happy person?
We're gonna need to take some fingerprints, Miss Fletcher.
No, I'm not comfortable with that. You're reasonable now. Well, I've been all over the state of Kentucky today looking for a job, so surely you can find some fingerprints somewhere.
Who steps in his own shit up on the counter at Alfalfa.
Just leave it alone.
Whatever. I was looking through the kitchen because I would like to make dinner for everyone tomorrow night. If that's something that sounds good, I'm off work tomorrow.
Yeah, I could go for an early dinner. I don't go into the donut shop until late.
Could Laura come over too?
Well, she's over here half the time anyway.
Oh, well, you're just jealous and stuff because Gail's gone for the summer.
Oh, is it a crime to wish my lover was back here already?
Well, it might be a crime to be so mopey about it.
Well, guilty as charged.
Alright, so dinner for 5 then.
Yeah.
Right on. I just want to do something nice for you guys since we ended up staying a little bit longer than planned. And I am learning a ton of new recipes over at Alfalfa.
Is it true that you threatened a guy with a butcher knife because he called you sweetheart?
Okay, first of all, he called me Toots, so as far as I'm concerned, he had it coming.
Well, sounds better than Laura's work at least.
What's happening at Laura's work?
Have I not told you yet? So she started working at this massage parlor like a couple weeks ago, thinking it'd be just like back rubs and massages and stuff. Some of the customers, some of the men, have been offering to do things with them.
Oh,
What?
The useless creeps.
Her boss said he'd look into it like a week ago, maybe longer, but nothing has happened yet.
We have to do something. We should go pick in the place, let people know what's going on.
Okay, will you leave those people alone? Everybody knows what's going on there. It is just life. You either get on with it or you quit working there.
No, it is not just life. It is outrageous male oppression.
Well, you are no savior.
Neither are you.
Well, do you think picketing would really help?
It'd be something to try.
I don't know, picketing, it could draw attention to the feminist community, the lesbian community, in a way that might make us targets.
Why can't we just live on our own and not have to deal with these stupid men?
Well, maybe we could reach out to the paper. They might be able to write a story or something. Who knows?
To have women leaders. You mean, do you really think a woman would have landed us in this war?
Yeah, she was a good little middle class Nazi. A woman could absolutely have gotten us in this mess.
Oh, come on. A woman would not call the same shots.
Are you joking, Letty? Okay, you're not joking, just incredibly short-sighted. So I will say this slowly. In order to succeed in a patriarchal structure, a woman would necessarily need to adopt patriarchal values and behaviors. It's obvious.
Okay, whatever!
Hey, don't take that out where the neighbors can smell it! Oh God, the last thing we need is the police sniffing around here. Should I?
I think it'll be fine, May.
Hey, what were we saying?
Oh, I was talking about how having women leaders is going to do jack shit if those women are idiots.
Or if they were put in place and propped up by the same patriarchal system that did all the damage in the first place.
So, what's the way towards any progress?
Well, in an ideal world, peace would be a decent place to start.
And this isn't an ideal world, Gail. And in order to build that ideal world, peace, pacifism, standing by aren't even worth discussing at this point.
Then I guess we'll just keep discussing whatever it is you want to talk about.
Well, if not pacifism, what other steps?
Well, there's community. There's always community. And organizing, engaging with the political system, with political change as much as possible.
Everybody should be into all kinds of resistance, self-defense, alternate institutions. Just fucking the system is a way of life.
Sometimes that's all you can do.
Miss Fletcher, please name every political meeting you've been to in the last year. State who was there and what was discussed.
I don't need to tell you that.
Well, Gail told us all about you. Yeah, you know all about Gail. Marla, too.
What about your friend? Jill Raymond? Ring a bell? Short little girl, long hair. Has she been into any political groups with you?
Listen, I'll give you any information you want on me, but I'm not going to say anything about anyone else.
Huh. Why are you refusing? You wouldn't be refusing if you didn't have anything to hide.
My friends, my political beliefs are none of your business. Look, I don't know why you all are asking me these questions. I have no idea what this has to do with the people that you're looking for. I've never even heard of this Cabby person.
Looking for these two women, Susan Sachs and Kathy Power. They've been on the run for about 5 years now. They look familiar to you?
Sweetie, it was supposed to be a couple of nights. They've been here for 2 months.
I'll talk to them, Gail.
I miss our privacy is all. I was so excited to get back here and just be with you, but now
I miss our privacy too. But they've already talked to somebody about getting an apartment. It's just a matter of time, I promise.
I hope so, for your sake.
It's not that bad having them around, is it? I feel like I have so much to learn from them, Gail.
I can see why you like them, Marla, but you're already smart. You know that, right?
I know. And you are worth more than any scholarship they could ever take away. You know that, right?
Hello?
Are you okay?
Yeah, fine.
Sure?
It's nothing. Have either of you seen May? She was supposed to be back by now.
No.
Oh.
Do you know where she was going?
Just out with friends?
No. Well, she should be fine then, right?
Yeah, she should be fine.
You're not worried she's out with someone else, are you?
You were just making fun of us for being too goddamn and not.
No, it's not like that. May and I are not together like that anymore, but I still care about her. And you guys were saying that they had been raiding the bars downtown, and like, what if something like that happened?
Come on, Lena, it's only 11. She'll be fine.
I don't know. I don't know. I just will feel better when she's back home safe.
You really are worried about her, aren't you? Do you, like, want a hug or something?
Sure, I'll take a hug.
May's leaving next week, headed back out east.
Why?
A friend of ours is sick. She's gonna help take care of her. I don't know what I'm gonna do without her.
It's all gonna be fine, Lena. It'll all be alright.
Do they look familiar to you?
I don't know who these women are. Honestly, I don't know who they are.
Well, Susan and Kathy have been sighted in this area and connected with you as well.
I don't know who would have told you that. I'm telling you, I do not recognize these pictures.
Be reasonable, Miss Fletcher. These are dangerous women we're after. Wanted for bank robbery and murder.
Well, I can't help you find them.
Are we sure she's not the one we're looking for?
Do you have a scar? One of the women we're looking for had a scar.
No, I don't.
Well, I guess we can't go around pulling people's shirts up now, can we?
No, I guess not.
We know that you know where these women are, Miss Fletcher. And if you can't tell us voluntarily, we're prepared to call you in front of a grand jury.
Go right ahead.
Are you sure you don't have anything you'd like to share with us, Miss Fletcher?
Yes, I'm quite certain.
Oh. Well. We'll be keeping an eye on you.
Hey, Marla, do you have a minute?
Sure, what's up?
I am leaving today, actually, and my mom, she had a heart attack, and it's nothing major. I just want to be there for her.
Oh, I am so sorry.
Thank you, Marla.
Do you have any idea when you'll be back?
No, but someone I don't know too well, Sally, I think she's gonna take over the little apartment.
Sally Fletcher?
Yeah.
I like Sally. I mean, we all decided she's not too male identified, even if she is bisexual.
One of the good ones, then.
Yeah. So I guess May's not coming back at all then?
May's gonna meet me out east.
Oh, does Jill know yet? She's gonna be heartbroken.
May let her know, and she told me to give you guys her love.
Well, we can write to you, all of us. What's your mom's
No,
address?
don't worry about it. But I don't know how much time I will have to write, and relationships are existential, and you just want to live in the moment, and don't let us drag you into the past.
Are you sure, Lena?
Yeah. I know where to find you guys. I got you something.
Oh. A poetry book? Oh. Lena, I love it. We'll see each other again, Marla, I know it. I'm gonna miss you guys so much.
Oh, I love looking through these books.
These people are crazy!
Oh, like you're one to talk about the law, buddy.
Oh, come on. That is just hot acid, though. These people are proper criminals. None about the FBI for some serious shit.
Ooh.
I mean, take a look at this person. Susan Edith Sachs.
Ooh.
Wanted for interstate flight, murder,
Ooh.
theft of government property, and bank robbery. All committed back in 1970.
Wow. This girl was like totally Patty Hearst before there was a Patty Hearst. Woo. Doesn't she look a little bit like Lena though?
I mean, I guess so if her hair were long and dark, but... Okay, she looks a lot like Lena.
Yeah, like she could really be Lena.
No. I cannot believe you.
letting your imagination get away with you like that. No.
You're right. You're right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Let's forget about it.
Okay.
Yeah.
May! Oh. It's her. It's really her. These two girls on the run.
Oh my god, these pictures are old as shit, but that's them. This is Lena and Maeve. Fuck.
We lived with wanted fugitives.
We lived with one of fugitives.
Wow.
Should we like report this or something?
That'd be like totally crazy. So,
Yeah. Yeah, you're right. You're right.
let's get out of here.
Yes.
Wait! Do you think Marla and Gail knew? They were living up there with them that whole time.
I don't think they really knew.
Are you sure?
I'm almost positive. But I'll tell you what. I bet this wasn't like Lena and May spending money to keep it for themselves. I bet it was something political.
That sure as hell wouldn't surprise me.
I'll tell you what. You don't think they could have left some money stashed in the house or something?
Well, I'm the one that moved into their old room, so I'm sure as hell gonna
Are you going back there now?
In a minute. I told my buddy Alan, I call him. He might be over at the house later. He said he brings some good weed.
I'll see you back at the house then. Marla and Gail are like never gonna believe this one.
Hey Alan, it's Letty. Are you still coming over to the house later? Sounds like a plan. But listen, you are not going to believe what just happened. Nancy and I just spotted two girls we used to live with on the FBI's most wanted list. They're wanted for bank robbery and murder. They've been on the run for like 4 or 5 years at this point.
Hey, Gail, it's Sally. Thank God you picked up.
I mean, I didn't really like them, if I'm being honest. They were so serious and militant. Meanwhile, I'm just over here trying to live my fucking life, and they're over here like judging me and shit.
3 FBI agents just showed up at my door and told me that I was wanted for murder. I don't know, they thought I was a Kathy Power person until I pulled out my license and my diploma.
Fuck, I don't want to go anywhere near the feds, Alan. What do you want? What if they search the fucking house?
Yeah, I'm okay. I'm just a little shook up, I guess.
Okay, well, it's not exactly a little weed, Alan. I don't like it. I don't like it at all. Besides, you're only saying this because you're dating that straight-laced chick.
I don't know, Gail, but they seem to know all about us. The agents, they brought up you, they brought up Marla, they brought up Jill. I've already tried to call her at Tasty O's to warn her.
I mean, you can go ahead, I guess, Alan. I'll be busy saying walk away from the police, okay? Warn me though if they, want to come searching through my fucking house.
Yeah, I worry about that too, Gail, but I'm nervous to call anybody else in case they are listening to this conversation right now.
Hello.
Hi, what can I do for you?
I'm with the FBI. We'd like to ask you some questions.
Oh, honey, I will tell you anything you want to know.
Are you Gail Murphy?
Yes,
May we talk inside?
I'd prefer it if we talked here.
This will only take a moment, ma'am.
Then we can talk right here.
I'd like to ask you some questions about 2 women who lived in Lexington this summer.
What questions do you have for me?
Look, I'm so sorry. I don't know anything about those girls, Special Agent. Wish I could be of more help.
What are your sexual preferences, Mr. Smith?
Meanwhile, I'm the homosexual, but I don't see what that has to do with a couple of fugitives. Unless you're, personally injury don't matter.
This will only take a moment, ma'am. You'll have to talk eventually, and we may as well talk inside.
We've actually spoken with a lawyer at UK who told us it was not, in fact, illegal to refuse to speak with the FBI. So please, leave us alone.
Name every meeting you've been to in the last year. State who was there and what was discussed.
Did you aid in hiding wanted fugitives at this address, miss?
Look,
If you were to describe your political philosophy in one word,
we'd be
would
happy
it
to
begin
talk
with an
about that
S?
with you.
What kinds of books are these lesbians reading?
But if you're not prepared to do that at this time, I suggest that you leave.
Well, you might just find yourself sitting outside the door of a grand jury room then.
Wait, I think I see her coming. Jill? Did you see it?
The car.
Yeah.
It's still out there?
It's been out there all week. I can't tell if it's always the same agents singing it or different ones. They all look the same to me.
Have they been going for your mail too, Jill?
That's been happening.
Yeah. Nancy noticed some of her mail had clearly been opened and then resealed. Best to keep an eye out for it, Jill.
Makes me feel so violated.
All the more reason not to cooperate with the FBI.
Here, here.
I know we don't want to cooperate with the FBI, but is it really worth it? Not talking?
Gail!
Sweetie, you know I don't like the things that Lena may have been accused of doing. I don't support those actions.
You don't have to support their actions, Gail, but this.
No, it's also not great that them being here has put all of us in danger. We didn't ask for this. We didn't ask to be watched all the time.
At the same time, Gail, if they had told us, that would have actually put us in a lot more danger. You all know that, right? Yeah.
I guess.
Besides, it would be one thing if they were just asking about Lena and May, but the questions they've been asking about people's personal lives, their sexuality, their political beliefs. Did I tell you all about the third time they came back? One of the agents was talking about that police officer killed in the robbery. He said, if somebody murdered your father, wouldn't you want everybody to cooperate?
That's so fucked up.
Do you think they knew that my parents are dead? Wouldn't be surprised. It's the kind of thing they try to use, isn't it? To get someone to break.
Honestly, I think the FBI is embarrassed, frankly. Like, they can't catch Patty Hearst, they can't catch Susan and Kathy, and now they're taking it out on women's communities.
You know, I genuinely think the FBI believes there's some giant underground lesbian network hiding fugitives and trying to get them to safe places around the country.
It's a bit out there, Jill, don't you think?
It's a completely moronic idea, but why else would they be collecting so much information about lesbian culture in general, huh? Time and time again, the FBI have invaded radical communities, but they were never really worried about the women's movement until now.
Yeah, and they're coming after Lexington, Kentucky, because they think we're a bunch of vulnerable backwoods country bumpkins down here.
Do you all really think we can take on the FBI? I mean, it's the FBI.
We all have a right to privacy. It's the same right that gave us Roe v. Wade and Gail. If these men have a right to ask me about everything Lena Paley and I discussed on the night of October 3rd, 1974, when she and I went out to a bar and drank beer for 3 hours, if they have a right to quiz me on everything that she and I said, even things that have absolutely nothing to do with their search, even if Lena and May are the people that they're looking for, I surrender any privacy I would attach to my relationship with either of them. That privacy is ours, not theirs. It belongs to us and our community.
We deserve our privacy.
Well, if you think we can organize around this bullshit, then I'll do it. And who knows? There may very well be a radical lesbian network in place by the time these assholes in Lexington.
Oh my god, I hope so.
And I do still worry about Lena and May sometimes. I mean, if the FBI does find them.
What if they firebomb them like they did the people from the SLA?
Or shoot them on sight.
I don't want to be a part of that.
Nobody talked to the FBI. Nobody.
Well, dang, Nancy. I didn't expect you to be up in arms about this.
They're trying to get us to inform against each other. To inform against our sisters. That's completely barbaric.
Professor Sedler says we should have a meeting to plan a response in case they follow through on their threats to drag us in front of a grand jury.
Okay, look, this is all noble and stuff, guys, but I am not planning on going to jail for Lena and May, right? You guys can do whatever you want. Do not count me in.
Letty, we have a responsibility to each other.
You know, I went and looked up the newspaper articles on Lena and May in the UK library, or, whatever their real names are, and I think it says a lot. That I couldn't find anything under the word activists. I could only find articles under the words murderers.
Why didn't you just look them up using their real names?
You do realize that they never shot anybody, right? It was some guy they were with.
Well, that police officer still died, and he had about 9 kids. Did you read about that?
The Lena and May we knew were not those same people. They got caught up in Kent State in the injustice of the war, and they went out and robbed some banks.
You know what it was like in 1970, Letty. There were protests everywhere. Even here, someone set the ROTC building on fire.
Somebody fucking died because of Lena and May.
With everything that's coming out with COINTELPRO, it sounds like the FBI's done a lot more killing than that, Letty.
Okay, whatever you say, just count me the fuck out of it.
Hello?
Is this J. Carrie Duncan?
Yeah, I'm Carrie.
This is Agent McDonald of the FBI. I have a few questions.
About what?
Susan Sachs and Kathy Power.
Who?
Susan Sachs and Kathy
Look,
Power.
I don't want to talk to you over the phone. I have no idea who you are. I'm not going to talk to some disembodied voice. You could be anyone. Oh. Hello? My name is Carrie Junkin. I was given this number in case the FBI called me. All right. Got it. Thank you very much.
Sweetie, who is calling this thing? Did you say FBI?
Yeah, they're after those girls that lived across the hall from us. Word on campus is they were a couple of anti-war bank robbers or something.
But why are they calling you? Is it the apartment thing?
Apparently, before, they had been living with a bunch of lesbians.
Oh, so this is about the Gay Student Coalition.
Yeah, it's probably about the coalition and the drop-in center and all the rest of it. I'm just a visible
person. Yeah. So why don't you tell them what you know, which is nothing? It is nothing, right?
Nothing but a glance in the hall.
So tell them that.
All talking would do is make it easier for the FBI to harass us. Us and all the other gay folks in Lexington, and I don't want to be a part of that.
Well, if you don't want to talk, and this lawyer guy says it's all right, then I say don't talk. Now come back to bed.
We have some more questions for you.
What are you doing in here?
Waiting for you.
You've always waited it outside in your car. Can't we go talk out there like normal?
We can go to the car, or we can stay right here.
How much longer are you going to keep coming here? It has been weeks. I've told you everything that I know.
We have some more questions for you. And if we can't get to the answers through civil discussion, we may have to get to it in other ways. Maybe searching the house would help us to discover what we want to know.
What do you want to know this time?
Do you know a girl named Debbie Hayes?
Yeah, I know Debbie.
Is she a lesbian?
Probably, I guess so.
Does she have any lovers?
No idea.
Did she know Lena and May, as you called them?
I mean, I think they did. They worked at the donut shop with Marla, so they maybe were a part of one of their study groups or something.
Excellent, excellent. Thank you, Letty. What group might this be? Is it the one known as the Red Star Sisters or the Sunday Socialists?
Look, can you please go talk in your car? I will tell you anything you want to know out there.
Is Sadler not here yet?
Should be out of class any minute.
Like a minute or two.
I'd still feel better if we had a woman representing us.
I love that too, Marla, but Robert Sedler is one of the best civil liberties lawyers in the state of Kentucky, and he's right here at UAK.
Hey, is this the place to talk to the lawyer about the FBI stuff?
Yeah. Carrie. Glad you're here.
I thought all the gay men that the FBI had talked to had cooperated.
Most of them did. They're scared. They even stopped going to the bar.
Well, lesbians are scared pretty much all the time anyway, so...
Why are you here, Carrie?
Because what the FBI is doing is abusive. It's clearly not about finding a couple of fugitives.
Well, you're right about that one. It's an outright attack on lesbianism and feminism, if you ask me.
So is it just the 5 of us then?
No, I think... Oh, wait. See her in the hall. We're in here! Hey. Do y'all know my coworker, Debbie?
I don't think so. It's nice to meet you, Debbie.
Hi.
Hey.
Did you know Lena and May?
Not really, but they interviewed everybody at the donut shop, so
Oh.
sorry. That's probably because of me. It's fine, Marla. I just want to do what I can to protect my community and stuff.
Thank you for agreeing to meet with us, Professor Sedler.
It's no problem at all. Now, I have a few questions, mostly as a matter of procedure. Do any of you all know where Susan Sachs and Catherine Power are currently?
No idea.
Absolutely not.
And did any of you have any idea of Lena and May's true identities when they were here?
Not that
No,
idea.
sir.
Good. If the FBI goes through with the intentions as they've stated, we may have a strong case here for misuse of the grand jury.
So, what do we do then?
We resist.
It's unlikely we'll be able to win against the FBI and the US government, but this case may still serve to draw attention to the misuse of the grand jury. The question is, are you all ready for what might come next? Are you prepared to be called in front of a grand jury, to maybe even testify in front of a judge, to deal with the research and resistance and continued surveillance when you'll all be probably called to testify in the end?
I'll do it.
Me too.
Teach them to mess with us.
This is not an easy path forward, but I am here to support you if this is a stand you would like to take.
You are hereby commanded to appear in the United States District Court of the Eastern District of Kentucky at Lexington, Kentucky on the 3rd day of February, 1975.
Did you know that Jill's a lesbian?
Did you know that Marla's a lesbian?
Did you know that Harry's a homosexual?
Did you know that Debbie is a homosexual?
What's the nature of your relationship with Harry Johnson?
Have you ever read any socialist literature?
Name every political group you've been a part of in the past year.
Do you know someone named Tanya?
If you were to describe your political beliefs with they start with the letter S.
Are your friends into terrorism?
So the FBI has been tailing us relentlessly.
They have my phone records. I know they have my phone records because they've been calling every single person I've talked to in the last month, including family members, saying, "Did you know Jill's a lesbian?" They hadn't known. A Fayette County school car started following me one night. Then I realized Special Agent McDonald was the one driving the car.
People wonder if they're going to be followed next if they talk to you. They start to look at you differently. And then they disappear. Especially the closeted ones.
Oh, yeah, this isn't comfortable.
Now, do any of you already know what the true purpose of a grand jury is?
A grand jury decides whether or not someone should be charged with a specific crime.
Precisely. It is a group of ordinary citizens who collectively decides whether or not to bring charges, it is appropriate to bring charges against someone. An entirely different group, a trial jury, decides whether or not someone is guilty of the charges a grand jury can bring.
But then why have a grand jury at all?
To prevent unfair charges from being brought against someone.
To decide what charges might be appropriate, so they can't just be charged with things endlessly.
In order to determine what charges are appropriate, a grand jury can request evidence and testimony from witnesses.
Wait, does that make us witnesses?
Yes.
Witnesses to decide whether or not Susan and Kathy should be charged with a crime?
Haven't they been already charged with a bunch of stuff?
They have. And now that brings us to the misuse of the grand jury as an information gathering arm of the FBI. The FBI has been working under the presumption that by avoiding arrest or further conspiring against the government, Susan Sachs and Kathy Power have possibly committed additional crimes in the Eastern District of Kentucky. In theory, you all have been subpoenaed to speak against that matter. In practice, the FBI is using this as an excuse to gather more information on Susan, Kathy, and any related political groups that they see as a potential threat.
Like the entire feminist movement.
Or the gay and lesbian community?
Or socialist groups.
Yes, they would likely try to gather information about all of those groups.
Where does the right to remain silent fit in all this?
In order to get you all to talk, they will likely give you what is called use immunity. It was created in order to get members of organized crime groups to testify. It blocks the use of your own testimony to prosecute you, though other evidence can be used to indict you.
What happens if they give us this use immunity stuff and we still won't talk?
There is a very real possibility you all can be held in contempt of court.
Wait, really?
I seriously doubt that they'll want to send a bunch of students and young women to jail, but it is a very real possibility. And something that they may try and pursue if they continue using the grand jury as a means of making you all talk.
So that means the grand jury isn't going to be used to decide whether or not Susan and Kathy are guilty of a crime at all. It's going to be used to create a crime against a completely different set of people. Against us.
Yes. You all would likely be held in civil contempt rather than criminal contempt, but you are essentially correct.
But if they can just do that, what's to stop them from investigating the Democratic Party? Investigating the National Organization for Women? Investigating whatever the hell they want to investigate by impaneling a grand jury? If they can just do that, we'll be in a police state in 10 years? Fewer, probably.
Now you see why it is so important to draw public attention to the abuse of the grand jury process and to bring forth a legal challenge.
What does that look like?
There are some strategies. There's a tactic that has been used to slow down the questioning process.
Do we answer some questions then?
Answering anything beyond name and address could be considered opening the door in a legal sense and take away your right to the Fifth Amendment. We can prepare a statement that you all will each be able to read in front of the grand jury, explaining the grounds upon which you refuse to answer their questions.
Wait, won't you be the one talking to the grand jury?
No. No one can go into the grand jury room with you, not even your lawyer. It will be only you, the grand jury, and the U.S. attorney.
Marla, come on in here and give your little speech. Look, my name is Mr. Seiler. I'm the U.S. Attorney. This is Foreman AG, the head of this grand jury. Now, state your name, please.
Marla Seymour?
And what is your present living address, Ms. Seymour?
I don't see why I need to answer that question given that I have received my subpoena to be here.
Okay, you refuse to answer.
I have received my subpoena at a certain address.
All right. Do you have an attorney?
Yes, I do.
And what's that attorney's name?
I need to consult with my attorney.
All right, we will wait for you.
They want to know your name?
Tell them I'd be happy to give them that information if they came out here.
Absolutely.
Okay, so you are Marla Seymour again, right?
Yes, I still am.
Okay, and did you answer the question whether or not you had an attorney?
Yes, I did.
And what is the name of that attorney?
He said he would be glad to tell you if you would go out into the hallway and ask him.
Well, you have to tell us because we do not have the authority to find out from an attorney.
Well, then I will have to go consult. May I be excused again, Mr. Foreman?
Yes.
Oh, we'll just strike that. Just wait, I have more questions for you. Just forget that right now.
I have been excused by the foreman.
We have struck the question.
Yes, we have struck the question. Now, Miss Seymour, I am going to show you here a picture entitled Catherine Ann Power. I want you to look at that picture and tell this grand jury if you have ever seen that girl before in your life.
Mr. Foreman, on advice of counsel, I respectfully refuse to answer that question based on my rights under the 1st, 4th, 5th, 8th,
and 9th Amendments to the United States Constitution, applicable sections of the United States Code, and on the additional ground that the subpoenas and the questions constitute an abuse of the grand jury function and process by the U.S. Attorney.
So what happens now?
The next legal step is to quash the subpoenas, making them null and void so that you can't be called in front of the grand jury again.
What does that look like?
In a few weeks, there will be a hearing before the judge. You all will be present for the hearing, but you'll have fairly little to do.
We'll just be sitting there?
All you have to do is show up. Attorney Seiler has already filed his own motion for use immunity. There will be a hearing for that as well before the judge.
In the meantime, a group of students, myself included, Mark Pastor, Margaret, and Barbara, we have started a defense fund and a defense, we're raising money for the defense team. The fund will cover the traveling expenses. We're bringing up a female lawyer from Florida. Yeah? Her name is Judith Peterson.
Yes, thank you, Sally. Going forward, Judith Peterson will be acting as co-counsel for the case.
This is getting recognition. This case is getting recognition nationally.
It's getting recognized in certain circles.
Which circles?
Some leftist feminist organizations are following the case and advocating for non-cooperation, even if we are given use immunity, even if it means going to jail.
How likely is that?
Yeah, will we have any real idea if jail is a possibility before the use immunity hearing?
I still don't think that they'll take it that far. And the choice will remain yours, no matter what national organizations have to say. We raise principles. We litigate principles, but we don't do it at the expense of people's lives. We should always prepare for the worst case scenario, but I really don't think that they'll push things that far. It wouldn't look good for them. Now, are there any more questions? No? I'll see you all next week.
See you tomorrow, Debbie.
Yeah, see you tomorrow, Sally.
You know, I think you're over romanticizing this a little too much.
Romanticizing what?
Going to jail?
It's not like I want to go to jail, Sally.
Not everybody is as strong as you are, or as much of a martyr.
I am not a martyr. I'm just trying. We all are.
Listen, if I had been handed a subpoena, I'd probably be on my way to jail with you. But you have to recognize Nancy's parents are not happy with her at all right now.
I know there are some things that make it easier for me, Sally.
That is not what I meant.
I didn't either. The fact that I graduated last semester, that I want to work in political organizing. There are lots of things that do make it easier for me.
It's not just that. I've been talking to Debbie too. And she has already been through so much. She is still dealing with the fallout of that, not to mention the stress of being followed around by FBI agents, and now she has to worry about going in front of a judge.
I have to worry about that too, Sally.
But that's you, Jill. Just because you're willing to go to jail does not mean that's something you need to push for everybody involved in this case.
I'm not pushing, I'm just saying.
I know. The idea of jail can be really terrifying for a lot of people, and I think that's something you need to keep in mind.
I really don't think this whole thing is going to end in jail time, Sally. But if it does, then it does. And we will all have to make our own choices.
The whole damn nation.
I don't want to talk with y'all. How many times do I have to say this?
We have a warrant to search this place. Step aside.
What is this about?
We have a warrant and an apologist that was guns buried in this basement.
Yeah? They're welcome to search the place, but there are no guns, no bombs, and also no basement.
Well, we're still searching this house. Step aside.
Harry, this is getting ridiculous.
Yeah, they didn't even check the records on this place first.
It's not what I'm talking about.
What then?
It's everything about this case, Carrie. It's too much.
I'm handling it. If I can handle what this case is doing to me, surely you can too.
It's not just about me, though. Not when it's happening here in Lexington. You and your dad just moved here, Carrie. My entire extended family is moved here.
And?
And it's bad enough for them that I'm gay without calling extra attention to it.
I thought you wanted me to fight back against what these bastards are doing.
I didn't realize that people would be terrified to talk to you. Terrified to talk with me, too. I didn't realize that federal agents would be busting down our door looking for bombs, Carrie.
Oh, come on, Mark.
We're satisfied. For now. But don't get too comfortable.
Don't let the door reach on the way out! Fuck! I can't cooperate with these bastards. Not at this point. Look at the shit they're doing.
You don't have any information you can give them anyway. What difference does it make?
I committed to doing this, Mark, and it's something I need to go through with.
I barely knew those girls. This has nothing to do with us.
It has everything to do with us.
They're only interested in lesbians, Carrie, not gay men. Everyone else cooperated.
That's because all the gay men in Lexington want to do is dance, party, and marry the guy next door.
What's so wrong with that?
It's wrong because there is so much ingrained racism and classism in this city that people genuinely think that's the way it's supposed to be. They can't see how complicit they are.
What does this have to do with a couple of lesbian bank robbers? This is a women's issue.
It's not just a women's issue. The fight for gay liberation is the same as the fight for women's liberation is the same as the fight for black liberation. Fighting against imperialism and classism and capitalism is all part of the same fucking struggle to wrest some of the power away from the white men that have run this country for the last 300 years. That's what the FBI represents, and it has everything to do with us.
Carrie, if you're not willing to walk away from all this.
What?
I can't stay here.
Mark.
I can't stay.
Mr. Seller, it's good to see you all again.
Thank you, Judge Moynihan.
May I introduce my co-counsel, Miss Judith Peterson?
Miss Peterson, please approach the bench. Do not wear a pantsuit in this courtroom again. It is incredibly disrespectful and unprofessional.
Should I change?
That won't be necessary, just don't show up in this state again. Thank you all for being here today. This hearing is brought in connection with Mr. Sedler's Mr. Sedler's motion to quash the subpoenas brought down in connection with the investigation into Susan Sachs and Kathy Power.
I'd like to call FBI agent John Gill to the stand. Mr. Gill, did you speak to Letty Ritter about a potential perjury charge due to letters the FBI had allegedly obtained containing answers to all the questions they intend to ask here?
Judge Moynihan, I object to this line of questioning.
Sustained.
It all feels like church. The judge sitting up on that bench like God.
A large, cold room filled with large men, agents, bailiffs, all dwarfing us.
Excuse me, Your Honor. I believe that her earlier testimony
Well, the objection has been sustained. This is a cross-examination, ma'am. Please take your seat. It has been sustained. Take your seat. Do not interrupt when a question is being propounded. Wait for it to be propounded, and then don't make a speech about it.
She hadn't interrupted.
It was like the judge had already made up his mind.
Now, Mr. Seiler will present his case for use immunity.
Your Honor, we are dealing with individuals who could have knowledge regarding dangerous fugitives.
Occasionally, Attorney Seiler refers to us as defendants.
But we are witnesses, not defendants. Not in front of this court and not in front of the grand jury.
It just feels like we are.
Thank you all for being here today. I will let you know my decision on quashing the subpoena as well as the use immunity. Thank you and adjourned. Ladies first.
On February 24th, 1975, 6 days after the initial hearings, the judge granted use immunity to all of the Lexington Six.
The next day, the motion to quash the subpoenas was denied.
We need to be getting more media coverage.
That feels pretty opportunistic, Sally.
It's not opportunistic, Gail. It's practical. Think about it. We can educate the people on the grand jury abuse. We can garner sympathy for our case.
We should criticize the judge for being a sexist, fascist pig.
Not want to upset the judge.
I don't think he can act any worse than he's been acting already.
If we are going to release a statement, do we lean into this could happen to anyone? Because it could. However, this has a ton to do with the prejudice against the gay community.
Well, maybe we should push that issue.
Yeah.
Maybe we can appeal to their better natures. The better natures of the folks in Lexington and the folks in the grand jury. Maybe we can show them how the government is manipulating them, because if there's one thing the American people hate, it's being manipulated.
Well, maybe we could talk about the histories of the grand juries and stuff like you were talking about, Nancy.
Yeah, as I was reading in my book, I think we should definitely do that. We can talk about the history of the grand jury and how it's really supposed to work.
I'm glad, at least, if I did have to talk, I don't really know anything that could help them at this point.
But you have to be really careful here. If you were to say anything that made them think that we know more than we do, you could put everyone in danger.
Well, you know what? It's my life, and I make my own goddamn decisions.
Carrie. He's not gonna talk. Sally, you don't need to worry.
Look, I'm just trying to help.
I know. He's just dealing with a lot right now.
I mean, you all are all dealing with a lot right now.
We all are.
First thing in the morning, I'll make a cup of tea. And then I'll have
Morning, Grandma.
Good morning, dear. Did you sleep well? Would you like some coffee?
Maybe in a minute. There's something I think I need to tell you. If I hadn't gotten stuck in traffic last night and got
Is
here
this
so
about
late-
those FBI agents?
What? Did Lori tell you?
No. A couple of folks came by yesterday. Said that they were coming back by to visit today.
But I can't talk with them, Grandma. Really, I can't say a word in front of them at this point.
It'll be all right, Jill. It'll be all right. Would you like some coffee this morning?
But it's the government, Carrie. You have to talk to the government.
No, I really don't.
No, FBI is here to protect us. They're doing good work. And these women that you're protecting, they're
bank robbers, criminals, lowlifes.
That robbery was over 4 years ago at this point, Dad. The FBI is not just looking for bank robbers. There's a lot going on here. Just trust me for once. I know what I'm doing.
What did your parents say when you told them? They said that they'd always love me because I'm their daughter, but that they can't support my lifestyle choices.
It doesn't really sound good, Marla.
Doesn't feel great. But from the way you've talked about your parents, it sounds like you're a lot closer with them than I am with mine. They'll come around, Gail.
I hope so.
So, Joe, are you and your buddies into terrorism? If you were to describe your political philosophy, would it start with an S? Well, what do you have to say about your granddaughter's behavior? You know that she's a socialist lesbian, suspected of aiding and harboring fugitives.
I would say that I love my granddaughter very much. And I don't think that she would take a liking to folks like that. She is a girl of intelligence and integrity. And I trust her to be a smart, responsible young woman. Always. I love you. I know you don't want to talk to these folks, sweetie, so I'll just take that as you saying you love me too.
Do you have any idea how bad this makes me look at work, Carrie? I'm an administrator for the VA, for crying out loud!
Maybe you could at least try to pretend that you're not so embarrassed and threatened by me being gay.
Well, if you didn't go around shoving it in people's faces all the time, shouting it all over town, I have to live here, Carrie!
Sounds like you'd be a lot happier if I wasn't your son.
You know, sometimes I think I might be.
Okay.
I don't have to take this from you!
You're gonna find out sooner or later, Gail. Whatever way this case goes, I wouldn't be surprised to find the word lesbians printed next to our picture in the paper the next day. You might as well come out to them now, on your own terms.
You're right. I know you're right.
It's okay. There's still some time. And whenever you're ready to make that phone call, I will be right there. I'll always be here.
Will you hold my hand while I talk to them?
I will hold your hand, your waist, and anything else that you'd like me to. Thank you.
Hey.
Thanks for lending us the record, Carrie.
It's no problem. Really. I'm sorry for blowing up at the meeting the other day.
It's fine, Carrie, really.
We all got a couple years on you at least learning to keep our heads cool. And, I remember what it was like being 19.
And you're dealing with a heck of a lot more than most 19-year-olds.
You mean worrying about finals and potential jail time isn't the typical college experience?
I don't know about you, but I am a strong Amazon woman. And if there's one thing we radical lesbian feminists know, it's self-defense.
That's actually one of the things we worked on with Lena and May. They taught a women's self-defense class. Even taught the head of the UK nursing program to kick some ass.
Seriously?
Yeah.
Damn. Maybe you could give me a lesson sometime?
Yeah, definitely.
No bomb-making lessons included, unfortunately.
Thank you two so much.
state your name.
Carrie Junkin.
And what is your present living address, Mr. Junkin?
Mr. Foreman, ladies and gentlemen of the grand jury, as a resident of Lexington and a student at the University of Kentucky, I would like to state for the record that I have been harassed and intimidated by agents of the FBI and the United States Attorney. If you were to be called by a total stranger who said he's an agent of the FBI but offered no proof of his position and was asked about friends, family, and political persuasion, how would you respond? Would you be willing to answer questions about things you consider private? Does the United States prosecutor have the right to ask me these and other questions for the FBI, or is he using the powers of the grand jury and using you to help him in the invasion of my privacy? Can someone on the grand jury please tell me why I'm here and what you want to know about my personal life?
No, Mr. Junkin.
I'm not through. What was the purpose of bringing me here? The standard purpose of a grand jury is to indict people with specific crimes. Of what crime am I accused? Of what am I to be indicted? I really want to know the answer to these questions. I would like an answer, please, from someone. Is nobody going to answer my question?
I take it no one is going to answer your question. You see, the grand jury is not here to be interrogated, Mr. Junkin. You are dismissed. Please state your name.
Debbie Hayes.
Miss Hayes, have you ever seen that girl before?
Can I ask why the prosecutor is asking the questions? Do you know that the grand jury was not designed for the prosecutor to even be in the grand jury room? This is set up for direct communication between myself and you. The prosecutor has nothing to do with that except giving advice. And have you people read in the paper where Slyther wants to be the federal judge and that supposedly catching famous people...
that information is not relevant before this grand jury. I believe my question was, have you ever seen that girl? Are you refusing to answer? Okay, listen closely to this. Have you ever in your life heard of a person called May Kelly or Lena Paley? Are you refusing to answer the question which was put to you? You're dismissed. All right, we'll get Marla Seymour in here for a couple questions before we break for a few moments.
Yes, tell Robert Sandler he needs to leave class and get to the court right now. They've already filed orders for Carrie, Debbie, and Marlon to be held in contempt of court. The judge has asked them to appear in the main courtroom. Yes, today tell him he needs to cut his class short and get to the court as soon as possible. I'm going to have to conduct this plea in the meantime. I have to question the abruptness of this motion for contempt. These students are entitled to a 5 days notice.
They're not entitled to 5 days notice in this case. We will further this inquiry with the 6 witnesses once the grand jury is done conducting their questioning. Thank you very much. Adjourned.
State your name.
Jill Raymond.
Have you ever lived in the same building as Sachs or Power?
Mr. Foreman, when agents of the FBI came to my door, it seemed to me a little bit strange for law enforcement officials to be threatening people who have a right to refuse to talk with them. From what I've read in the newspapers recently about the FBI, it led me to conclude that it is an agency which has overthrown the powers initially delegated to it.
I hate to interrupt, but I believe you could answer my question yes or no.
It just seems to me that you all wanted me to make statements to you. So I have a statement to make.
You're dismissed. State your name, please.
Nancy Scott. Mr. Foreman, I have a statement I would like to make first. In the days of early England, like in the 1700s, like when the poor were jailed and arrested irregularly, and that's just because they were poor and they didn't have any rights, the people were so irate that panels of citizens were called, known as grand juries. And grand juries were formed to determine if anybody...
I appreciate your discourse here, but the grand jury has got to get on.
Would it help if I personally asked the questions instead of Mr. Seiler?
May I consult with my attorney?
Yes.
May I ask why these questions are being asked?
We want to find where those girls have gone.
Well, what kind of questions do you have for me?
May I see the list of questions, Mr. Seiler? Have you ever known a woman by the name of Susan Sachs?
May I consult with my attorney?
You gotta be kidding me.
On advice of counsel, I respectfully refuse to answer the question based on my rights under the 1st, 4th, 8th, and 9th Amendment to the United States Constitution.
Listen here, young lady, I just need to say something to you. You are meddling with this grand jury. Now, I have warned you about that. You just dragged your feet, led this man to believe that if he asked you these questions, you might answer them, went out into the hallway, and these people have got to get back home to their families. You're meddling with them. And I think it is inexcusable for someone with your background and education to be involved in activities of this sort. You're excused. I plan to file contempt proceedings against you and everyone else who refuses to cooperate with this grand jury. Plan to be here tomorrow.
You all have everything ready for tomorrow?
I think so. Prepared for the worst. If they separate us, like send us separate places, I think that might actually be the worst.
Oh, there's so much to plan. Pets, plans, apartments. I mean, the idea of going to jail is stressful enough without the actual logistics to deal with.
My doctor prescribed me Valium for the stress, and I'm not even going to jail.
Well, it doesn't help that you're so busy raising money for us that you keep getting fired.
Yeah, that doesn't help.
Nancy's doctors prescribed her tranquilizers as well. I hope she and Laura are doing all right in Louisville.
I wish they were here.
One last night together. For all of us.
I really don't think I can go to jail, you all.
It's still not certain, Debbie. We have that statement prepared. It would take a lot to.
I know that. I'm so scared I would just lose it in a jail cell, and I just don't want you all to hate me if I can't do it.
Debbie.
We could never hate you, Debbie. You're fantastic. You really are. I would have given anything to see Tyler's face when you told him he wanted to be a judge.
I mean, yeah, that was pretty nice. I just hope I can keep it together tomorrow.
None of us asked for the FBI to come after us. We didn't ask for any of this. Doing your best is enough. You resist as far as you're able, and that is enough. None of us need to be superhuman.
Really?
Really. Ideals are incredibly important, Debbie, but people, we take care of each other. So yeah, Debbie, whatever end that is.
God, I love you guys so much.
We love you too. They can try and throw our asses in jail, but they can't make us stop caring about each other.
Hey,
Sorry.
I know.
How you doing?
Oh, not so good. Feeling paranoid, bad dreams and all that. Feeling watched. Which, to be fair, I am being watched, so. There's also the possibility I might be thrown in jail tomorrow. You heard about that?
I didn't know how bad this was gonna get.
I don't think any of us did.
Need anything?
Help packing, maybe?
You bringing your school books to jail?
Yeah, my professor said I could take my finals from there if I needed to. What a way to finish freshman year, huh?
Yeah.
Have you seen my dad?
I saw him once.
He likes you. Probably likes you better than me at this point.
Are you all still not talking?
Not right now. No. Chances are he'll find out what happens tomorrow. Either way.
I really don't want you to go to jail, Debbie.
I don't want to go to jail either, but is it even worth hoping for a different verdict at this point? I don't need another disappointment, Sally.
Even if it does get to that point, there will still be hope on the other side.
What hope?
I mean, there's all the work that we've done, the community that we've created, the connections.
Yeah, I guess so.
You do know that the reason I have been working so hard on this case, it's because of how I feel about you. I'll be here on the other side, Debbie.
I hope they get the maximum.
What do you mean by that?
Well, the best I can understand the situation is that these defendants have been granted use immunity, and that if they don't answer the questions that we, the jury, put to them, or that the U.S. attorney puts to them, then they're in violation of the law. And if they're in violation of the law, then they're upholding a criminal. And we, as the jury, thought that they should get the maximum sentence, which would probably be jail time or a fine until they cooperate.
You said that they were defendants. Had the U.S. attorney advised you that criminal charges were pending against these people?
I used that word on my own. I wish to strike it. Witnesses, I should say.
But that's how you felt, that they were defendants.
The cooperation we've been getting? Yes.
So in other words, you were upset, personally, that they didn't answer your questions.
Your Honor, I object to this line of questioning.
Sustained.
Thank you, Foreman Agent.
Mr. Seidler, Ms. Peterson, will you please approach the bench? How could you all let your client walk in here dressed that way? It is incredibly disrespectful.
What is this in reference to?
That young man's shirt.
Your Honor, we can't control our client's attire, and furthermore, he has the First Amendment right to debate his beliefs.
Tell your client to leave this courtroom and don't come back until he is properly attired. Now, this is unacceptable. You done? Young man, this disrespect has no room in this courtroom. If you keep this up, you will be looking at more than just civil contempt of court.
May I continue?
Yes, go ahead.
Several of the witnesses charged with contempt have sworn affidavits alleging illegal wiretapping. In response to a subpoena requesting access to the information obtained on the witnesses, the agent admitted to having made no effort to obtain the documents outlined in the request.
Objection.
Sustained.
In response to the subpoena, to be more precise, the agent said no such documents or letters exist.
Object, Your Honor.
Sustained. Mr. Seller, Mr. Seidler, Ms. Peterson, please approach the bench. I'd like to hear your reasoning for this.
Your Honor, we are trying to get into the question of how electronic surveillance is determined. We have all experienced an unreasonable amount of electronic interference in our communications, which would strongly suggest illegal activities, making these proceedings null and void.
An agency cannot conduct a thorough record search in a matter of hours. This kind of information would take 2 weeks to obtain, not 2 hours, sir.
Your Honor, this is not proper legal procedure.
Fine. I will withdraw my complaint.
Do you think we have enough on record for an appeal?
I do.
Legally, I am required to ask all 6 of you if you are willing to stand, if you are willing to testify in front of the grand jury. James Carey Junkin, are you willing to testify in front of the grand jury?
No.
Gail Murphy, are you willing to testify?
No.
Marla Seymour, are you willing to testify?
No.
Nancy Scott, are you willing to testify in front of the grand jury?
No, sir.
Jill Raymond, are you willing to testify?
No, I will not.
Okay. Deborah Hayes, are you willing to testify?
No.
I see. It is therefore determined and adjudged that all 6 of you are now in contempt of civil court. It is also hereby determined and adjudged that you be released into the custody of the U.S. Marshal for the Eastern District of Kentucky.
My clients have a formal statement they would like to read before the grand jury.
We believe we have just cause for the refusal to answer questions propounded to us by the U.S. grand jury.
We state to the court that we have no knowledge of the present whereabouts of the persons known to us as Lena Paley and May Kelly.
We further state to the court that we have no knowledge or reason to believe that Lena Paley or May Kelly
were persons other than the persons that they claimed to be, or that they were fugitives from justice.
Because we believe that we have just cause for the refusal to answer the questions propounded to us by the grand jury.
We must respectfully decline to answer these questions and appeal the decision of the court directing us to do so.
In light of this statement, I'd like to poll the members of the grand jury to see if they would like the 6 of them to testify still, having heard the witnesses avow that they have no pertinent information in the search for Saxon power.
I will allow this very unusual request.
The jury was gone for 6 minutes.
6 agonizing minutes.
We would like the case to go on.
The contempt order holds.
I request that the 6 be released on bail until the appeal is decided.
No, Your Honor, this
I plan to file
delaying
forthwith.
tactics give Saxon power.
Thank
more
you,
and
Mr.
more time.
Seiler. Before you 6 are taken into custody, I would like to say something. I have never in all of my years seen a case where a group of witnesses have shown greater contempt for the power of the federal grand jury. I spent time as an unwilling visitor in Hitler's Third Reich, and I appreciate what prison is like. It's a very sobering experience. I'm sorry these young people have to be confined, but given their callous attitude and total disregard of the power of the grand jury, their behavior cannot be tolerated. For that reason, the motion for a stay and the motion for bail are overruled, and these witnesses are remanded to the custody of the marshal. Thank you, Marshal.
Jill and Gail were sent to the jail in Pineville, Kentucky.
Nancy and Marlo were taken to Frankfurt.
Debbie and Carrie were sent to a jail in Richmond, Kentucky.
Debbie, separated from Carrie and the others, lasted about a week in jail. She was the first to testify.
About a month after they had all gone to jail, Susan Sachs was recognized and apprehended in Philadelphia. She served 6 years in prison.
Carrie agreed to testify shortly after Susan's capture. Most of the others followed a couple of months later after they learned that their appeal had been denied.
Jill Raymond stayed in jail for 14 months in total, the longest of all of them, staying in jail until the end of the grand jury session. She never testified.
The efforts of the Lexington Six brought national attention to grand jury abuse, and eventually, substantive policy change.
Kathy Power managed to hide out for 23 years. Overcome with guilt, she turned herself in. Like Susan, she served 6 years in prison.
Most of the young people involved in the grand jury case are still alive today.
But not all of them. Carrie Junkin died of AIDS in 1993. He never lived to see 40 years old.
Gay liberation has progressed, but we still feel the effects of the hate and negligence that led the FBI to harass the queer community in Lexington.
We feel it in all those that we have lost and all of those that we continue to lose.
We owe the strides that have been made since then to people like the Lexington Six.
And to all of the queer people who are bold enough and fortunate enough to step outside every day and be themselves.
This sleigh is dedicated to them.